This is the Wrestlebread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
Oh yeah, guys. It is almost the start of Wrestlemania weekend, and a lot of things have been going on. In the news this week, Jim Ross joins AEW as a senior advisor in what is called the largest deal for pro wrestling commentary. It doesn't seem like he will be an actual play-by-play announcer. Seems like he'll be more backstage. So AEW has hired Excalibur and Alex Marvez as their commentary team. So it seems like JR will be more behind the scenes. But we will see once Double or Nothing comes around in May and the shows that are coming after that. I'm happy for JR. He has always been one of my favorite announcers. Of course, you know, he always is in the iconic moments when he is yelling, "Stone Cold! Stone Cold!" Or when the infamous match of Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon against Shawn Michaels and God, which is one of my least favorite matches, but that match has one of my favorite JR sayings when Vince McMahon finally pinned Shawn Michaels. JR shouts out, "This is bullshit." I thought it was funny. But best of luck to JR with AEW. I wish him nothing but the best, especially after his tragedy with his wife. I wish him nothing but happiness in pro wrestling. Another news piece is Chris Jericho is banned from the WWE. Now, we all know that Vince can be a little petty, just a little bit. Chris Jericho was talking on the Jim Norton and Sam Roberts show, and he mentioned that he had talked to Vince McMahon and that he has been removed from parts of WWE. He said, and I quote, "I asked the other day if I could have a couple of their guys on my podcast to promote Mania, and I was told no, it's not appropriate because you're in AEW. I am banned from WWE. I think my stuff is still on there, the WWE network. I haven't been disgraced, but as far as I know, they had to take some videos down from Up, Up, Down, Down of me playing. They edited some stuff from the Edge and Christian show that had my name on it." You can't really blame Chris Jericho for going with AEW because they signed him for more money than WWE has ever offered him. And WWE should expect things like this to happen, even outside WWE with Ring of Honor and New Japan, and Impact Wrestling. Expect people to jump ship. I don't know why Vince thinks that just because he has, the biggest promotion out there that everyone will come to his will and his dealings. Ring of Honor and Impact and AEW is showing people that there are options outside of WWE. And I wish Chris Jericho the best too. I can't wait for his match against Kenny Omega. I know they're going to tear the house down. I didn't see their match in New Japan. I heard a lot of great things about it. I have the intention to watch it very shortly. But I think that Chris Jericho did something that was best for him. WWE's schedule can be quite grueling. I'm sure that the last time Chris Jericho was working with the WWE, he probably had a little bit of a flexible scheduling. But I feel as though with AEW, there'll be a lot more flexibility with his scheduling, especially if he got paid the amount of money that he did. Also, the Usos re-signed their contract with WWE, according to PW Insider. They had signed for a 5-year deal with a pay raise. So, best of luck to the Usos. I feel as though they're one of the best tag teams in WWE right now. I wish the Usos nothing but the best. But I feel as though that WWE is feeling pressured to sign people into lucrative deals because of AEW and their promise to treat all the tag teams right. The Revival, as you probably already know, has discussed their frustrations with their position in WWE, and I would get to that in a little bit. It would be very interesting if the Revival tries to go for AEW after Cody and the Young Bucks had the whole series called Fuck the Revival. It would be very interesting to see where they go with that. So now, I'm going to go to my NXT predictions. As soon as my cat stops acting crazy, of course. I fully expect NXT to, steal the show. Their matches will be a lot better than some of the main roster matches. I don't think they're going to completely steal the show because of the amount of matches that the main roster is going to have on Sunday, and some of the matches that I'm hoping will end in a good way. So let's get started. So we have Velveteen Dream versus Matt Riddle for the North American Championship. I definitely have Velveteen Dream keeping the title. I mean, Velveteen Dream is just straight up gold. I'm hoping that he never gets called up because I am very fearful for how Vince is going to treat him. As you've seen, some of the NXT call-ups are not treated that well. For example, EC3, he got the latest with Asuka right now, Nakamura, Rusev, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable. The main roster is very overflowing with the amount of talent that they have there, and they don't have enough airtime for all of them. They have to eventually come to that reality that they don't have enough airtime to show everyone, and that they need to be able to rotate people so that people can eventually get airtime. Give people an actual shot to shine. And this is why you get sometimes Kofi Kingston or even Ali during Fastlane. You don't give people a chance to shine, then the fans won't know what. If you don't give fans a chance to see the talent shine, then the fans won't be able to have the chance to give a reaction for the wrestlers that deserve it. So the next match we got is the War Raiders versus Aleister and Ricochet for the tag team titles. I have the War Raiders retaining because Ricochet and Black are on the main roster now. So for them to win the NXT titles, it's going to keep them down in NXT. And to me, it wouldn't make any sense for them to debut on the main roster just for them to stick down to NXT because they have a title. I know that Ciampa and Johnny Gargano had their titles, but I feel as though it's not necessarily fair for them to pull double duty with NXT and with the main roster, in my opinion. So I feel as though that there's no point in giving them the NXT championship right now if they're already hot on the main roster. So I have the War Raiders retaining. So next we got Pete Dunne versus Walter for the UK championship. I have Pete Dunne retaining. Pete Dunne, the bruiserweight. You gotta love that guy. He kicks ass, so that's my reasoning why he's keeping the title. So next we have Shayna versus Kairi versus Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair for the women's championship. I actually have Shayna losing, but I don't have Shayna getting pinned to lose. I have Kairi winning, I feel as though that it's time for a face to hold the title for a little bit. And a lot of people are in love with Kairi, of course. I have Kairi possibly taking out Bianca for the title and starting that feud from here on out. I don't think Bianca is ready for the title. Now, I'm not Sam Roberts. I'm not going to sit here and say that she doesn't deserve to be on the pay-per-view, because that is not true. She definitely belongs to be on the pay-per-view, especially when the way that she had got her title shot the first time around. I don't think she has developed into her character yet. She seems very like a nice person. So much of a nice person in real life that her trying to play as a heel isn't coming off as authentic. I don't get her character just yet because I feel like she doesn't fully believe in her character. When someone is actually believes in their character, them and the character become one. For example, look at the difference with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was, the happy-go-lucky steampunk gal, which works, but once she turned to the man, it was like a switch went off, and it worked. It came off as authentic, and I'm hoping that Bianca Belair can come into her character. I think her character just needs to be slightly tweaked. I feel as though that it's like her character come across to me as the kid on the playground that wants all the attention. That's how it kind of come across to me, and that's why it feels like it's not authentic. I think her character just needs a slight tweak. I can't really, I don't have on the top of my head what she can do to tweak it, but it feels like there's just a little something missing. It doesn't have that oomph, that bit of star it factor. But I don't have any suggestions, so maybe I should just shut the hell up about it. So the last match, Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 for the NXT Championship. So I have Adam Cole winning. Shock the system. I think that I feel as though Adam Cole should have the title. You start the feud with Johnny Gargano a little longer, especially since we have Undisputed Era. I don't want the Undisputed Era to be called up as well because I don't know who they would put them against. And I don't want them to bring up the Undisputed Era and have them concentrate mainly with Adam Cole. I feel as though all 4 members of the Undisputed Era are talented and they work very well together as a whole. So I'm hoping that they don't get called to the main roster. I know with the fact that it's Wrestlemania that they're going to call up people. I have Shayna being called up, Aleister and Ricochet being permanently called up, possibly Johnny Gargano being called up, but I wish that whoever they call up for the Raw after Mania or even SmackDown after Mania, that they'll actually get their time to be able to grow and have TV time and to come across better with the fans, because as you see when Ricochet, Aleister Black, and DIY initially debuted it first of all in one of the worst wrestling crowds I ever seen in my life. But it's because, first of all, there is no excuse as to why there was no reaction for those 4 gentlemen. But I feel as though you should be able to give them time for the crowd to get used to them, just like they did with Aleister Black and Ricochet. What they did with them, too, is perfect. They put them in matches. the crowd got to get to know their wrestling styles and their characters. But nothing like what they're doing with Lacey Evans. What they're doing with Lacey Evans is really a waste of time for her to pretty much show off. It's pretty much a runway show of all the ways that she can dress like she came out of the first Captain America movie. And that's all I gotta say about that. So now we're going to move on to the 16 matches and counting, because WWE added a match very recently to the card. So let's start with the matches that we know will be on the pre-show. So we have the Women's Battle Royal. I feel very sorry for the SmackDown women that's in this, because they had a shot at the SmackDown title until WWE decided to pull a swerve and have Charlotte win it 2 weeks out. And I also feel horrible that Asuka has to parade around happy, like she didn't just lose her title out of nowhere. So I have Asuka winning. I feel like, though, if Asuka wins, it's a bit of a slap to the face, because it's like, okay, we took your title away from you 2 weeks before WrestleMania, but here's a weird ass looking trophy that we can give to you and you can be featured on the pre-show. It's like, come on. And then to say that they did all this because they feel as though the fans wouldn't be into it. It's like, yeah, because the build up to it is backwards, but if you had just actually put thought into it, it would have been treated better. It would have been treated a lot better. Basically, what I hate that WWE does is they do not know how to concentrate on more than one storyline. If you think back when SmackDown storylines were hot, Raw storylines were struggling. Now that Raw storylines are hot, SmackDown storylines are struggling. It's like they don't know how to handle two storylines. It's really not that hard to create two storylines for the women. I mean, they kind of did one. Well, now I'm contradicting myself because I've completely forgot about the women's tag team titles, that it's somewhat of a storyline with that, but still, it's like they can't juggle multiple female storylines. It's just really frustrating that they sit here and kick this whole women's revolution crap when they don't know how to handle their female roster. You took the title from one person to put it into a main event that already has a title, and then says, oh, winner takes all. And then what happens? So what, they're going to unify the belts so that then not only will pretty much the same four people be featured in the title picture, the other females on the roster will pretty much be like main event superstars featured on up, down from time to time. There are a lot of females on the roster that deserves a chance. It's just really frustrating. But I have a feeling that like Lacey Evans is going to win it. If Lacey Evans is in, I think they're going to give it to her just to start the push. This probably eventually be used to actually give someone a push. I feel as though that her doing her runway shows has to lead to something, and I feel as though it's going to be this. So the next match is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal with Colin Jost and Michael Che. I really hope that the two damn comedians I really hope they're not in the Final Four, first off, because that would be another slap to the face. Like, I get the celebrity, the comedic stuff. I get it. I feel as though that they're going to, like, eliminate Braun Strowman somehow because they need the comedy bit. It seems like every WrestleMania needs a comedy bit, and this will be the comedy bit for this year's WrestleMania. I have Andrade or Ali winning it, even though they have proven time and time again that this does not mean anything, as you see from the past winners. I don't think Apollo Crews is going to get it. I don't think Braun Strowman's going to get it. I really don't think that Braun Strowman is going to win it this time. I have Ali or Andrade winning. So next up is the Revival versus Hawkins and Zack Ryder for the Tag Team Championships, Raw Tag Team Championships. So this match was recently added on to add on to the swelling of matches. And also another point, as you can probably see, I'm very upset about this whole Asuka thing. They said that they cut the Asuka match, the cut down on the matches, but it don't make sense because they're adding matches. So, but I actually have Hawkins and Ryder winning. I feel as though if Hawkins is going to win and Zack Ryder gets a WrestleMania moment, why not? Why? Let's do it now. I feel let the Revival go. I don't know where they would go, but I feel as though that the Revival as tag team champions felt a little wasted. I mean, look at the difference between the Revival in NXT and the Revival on the main roster. It is completely night and day. The Revival were pretty talented when they were in NXT. I mean, they were able to display their talents, and it just feels like with them on the main roster as tag team champions, it just feels like a filler. There's not really any type of storyline or anything. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just, oh, we have these guys going against the Revival. And then Zack Ryder and Hawkins out of nowhere just say, hey, we want a shot too. And they were granted it. So the next match I have, another match that will probably be on the, no, actually it was announced that it's on the pre-show, is Buddy Murphy versus Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight Championship. So I have Tony Nese winning it. I actually saw Tony Nese wrestle live a couple of times when I went to the House of Hardcore when they came to Philadelphia, and then I went to one of their shows up in New York. And Tony Nese is actually my fiance's one of his favorite indie wrestlers. But I have Tony Nese winning it. I feel as though Buddy Murphy will be coming up to the quote unquote main roster. It's considered main roster, even though 205 Live has its own show, but I feel as though Buddy Murphy will be called up to the main roster and Tony Nese will be the champion. So now we're going for the matches that I figured would be on the main card. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns, which, if you think Roman Reigns is not going to win this, then I don't know what you've been watching for the past couple of months. It's not a matter of if Roman Reigns is going to win. It's about how long this match will be before Roman Reigns win it. Roman Reigns has been the babyface of the year since his return from battling leukemia. You can call me an asshole. I like the Roman Reigns character a little more now. He isn't playing the whole underdog thing, which really made me upset because his look, when you look at Roman Reigns, you don't sit there and think underdog. Oh, that's an underdog. In real life, yes, he fought against cancer, but I am talking about the gimmick Roman Reigns. Do not mistaken my words for coming at him as a person. I am not coming at Joe. I am coming at the character Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is not an underdog. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I have Roman Reigns winning. So next we got Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the U.S. Championship. Question mark, Rey Mysterio? They said that they're still monitoring his ankle. He got injured this past Monday Night Raw, and they're monitoring his ankle. He is hoping that he'll be ready for Sunday, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we get a replacement by the name of Andrade. A girl can only hope. Hopefully, I actually have Rey Mysterio. If Rey Mysterio makes it to WrestleMania, I have Rey Mysterio winning. The U.S. Championship is the only title that Rey Mysterio has yet to win. So I feel like, as much as I love Samoa Joe and Samoa Joe as a champion, I feel as though that Rey Mysterio will win this just so he can be a Grand Slam champion. So the next match I have, and a match that I'm actually a little excited to see, is AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. Whoa, what a little promo that they had on SmackDown this past Tuesday. I actually thought AJ Styles was going to go the don't shake Randy Orton's hand route, but he did talk about the drug and the suspensions, which is second best. I'll take that because AJ Styles is a good choir boy. But I have AJ Styles winning. This could go either way, truthfully. I hope that they have a good match. We already know we're going to get some type of spot with the RKO or even the fake out RKO as well. I'm a little disappointed that they did the phenomenal forearm into the RKO spot on SmackDown. So I'm hoping that means that they got that spot out of the way on SmackDown because they have something better on the pay-per-view. But nothing can top the Seth Rollins RKO from 25,000 feet in the air. But we'll see. AJ Styles always brings it in the ring. He always have great matches. He always make the person that he's going against look good. So we'll see what happens between these two. The next match I have is Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin? Question mark. Maybe Baron Corbin won't make it down to the ring. This is one of the matches that WWE kind of just says, F it. We're going to do what we want, and what are you going to say about that except for turn into a hashtag? So my thinking is, whatever, I guess, the camera will be on the commentators, and then it goes to the backstage area. You see the referees running up to Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is laid out because someone attacked him. And then, while Kurt Angle's in the ring, by the way. And then we have John Cena come out just like he did on his debut. Come marching down with the mean look on his face. Kurt Angle says, "Who the hell are you?" And Cena gets out his whole ruthless aggression. That sounds a bit like Vince, but I'm hoping that we get Kurt Angle versus John Cena. I think it'll be nice that, John Cena's first match is against Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle's last match will be against Cena. But we'll see what happens. Anything can happen in the WWE, including Baron Corbin possibly getting a Wrestlemania moment and beating Kurt Angle. I actually have Kurt Angle winning because if he's going against Baron Corbin, because Baron Corbin made his life a living hell when he was a GM, it kind of makes sense for Kurt Angle to get one over because of everything he went through with Baron Corbin. I know the saying is that the wrestler who leaves goes out on his back, but you don't do that for Baron Corbin. You really don't. Anybody else? Yeah, okay. Go out on your back. Have a good time. But not with Baron Corbin. Really, not with Baron Corbin. Not cool at all. So the next match I have is Bobby Lashley versus Demon Balor. Bleh, bleh, bleh. I fucking hated how he was sticking out his tongue and making them weird ass sounds. I felt as though they shouldn't even reveal that it would have been Demon Balor anyway. I mean, let's all face it, we were going to watch WrestleMania anyway. I would have liked for the Demon to be a surprise. But I know everybody's complaining because, not everybody's complaining, but some people are a little upset that he didn't bring out the demon for Brock Lesnar, but he brings it out for Bobby Lashley and his Make-A-Wish kid. That's what Lito Rush keeps reminding me of every time he stands next to Bobby Lashley. If that's mean, I really apologize for it. But that's honestly what I think of Leo Rush every time I see him. And now that I said it, you probably can't unsee it. So I apologize for that. I have Balor winning. What's the point of bringing out the demon if he's not going to win? Now that I said that, I realized I am talking about the WWE where anything can happen. And Bobby Lashley may win it. But I'm hoping for Demon Balor here to win the IC Championship because he brought out the demon. I hope for everything that is dark for the Demon Balor to get a good entrance. I'm hoping that the demon gets a good entrance. That is all I'm asking for. Is for him. I just want the demon to have a good WrestleMania entrance. Don't give me just the fog and he comes out crawling. No. We don't want the regular NXT one. I want something spectacular. I want to sit there and go like, you know what? It was worth for Demon Balor to come out after what? 2-3 years later? It was worth it just to get this cool ass entrance. Like, I want freaking demon cats, demon dogs, like, let's bring out the whole zoo. Let's bring out kids, babies, elderly people. Like, I want a kick-ass entrance for the Demon Balor. Let's be honest, he may come out with just fog. But a person can only wish, you know? So the next match we have is the Boss and Hug Connection versus Beth Phoenix and Natalya versus the Iconics versus Nia Jax and Tamina. I have Beth Phoenix and Natalya winning this. Beth Phoenix coming back to win the title that she fought hard to pave the way for. Not that she intentionally paved the way for the tag team titles, but she paved the way for the opportunity of the tag team titles. I mean, if you really think about it, her time with Santino Marella was really good. But I just felt like she was a bit out of place. Very similar to people like Jacqueline, in my opinion. Kong, of course. People who are really good at wrestling and can kick ass, but unfortunately didn't have a lot of competition because the other female wrestlers weren't that good. WWE went through the whole time period of the bra and panty matches and that the women were pretty much eye candy. And there wasn't any concentration on what the women can do in the ring as far as wrestling. I'm sure Beth Phoenix is very proud of where the women are up to this point. And I feel as though she's going to win this tag team title. We have Jim the Anvil Neidhart going into the Hall of Fame. So I feel as though they're going to take this opportunity to make it a all-around feel-good moment with Natty. That she'll win the women's tag team titles, and she'll dedicate it to him. Whatever they do afterwards, they may have them drop it the next night. But I feel as though that Beth Phoenix and Natalya are going to win this. So the next match I have is the Usos versus Nakamura and Rusev versus The Bar versus Aleister Black and Ricochet for the Tag Team Championships. SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I don't have Aleister Black and Ricochet winning this. As much as talented as they are, it is too soon for them to win the tag team titles. I would like for them to keep on wrestling and kind of develop the kind of bring up the tag team division. I like the fact that Aleister Black and Ricochet are there to go against other tag teams so that it's not just the Usos versus the New Day, so that we can get a little bit of a mix-up. Aleister Black and Ricochet versus the New Day, for instance. Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the Usos. Or even a triple threat of the Usos versus the New Day versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. What a match that would be, guys. But we have this one. I have the Usos winning this. And I have the Usos pinning Nakamura and Rusev. I feel as though that's why Nakamura and Rusev are there. That way, Ricochet and Aleister Black loses without technically getting pinned. I don't know how long the Usos will keep the titles for. Maybe they'll eventually drop it to Aleister Black and Ricochet soon, but I don't have them losing this at the Wrestlemania. And plus, I don't think that every title will change hands anyway, and I think this is one of the instances where the title does not change hands. Another match that we have the best in the world, ? Shane McMahon versus The Miz. I have The Miz winning this, truthfully. I feel as though Shane McMahon may pull some BS. Well, I know he's going to have interference because there's false count everywhere. We've seen him use Sanity. Who else? Shelton Benjamin as his little quote-unquote security team. So I know that he's going to bring some superstars with him to try to get him to win. I hope The Miz win. Don't you remember the time when Shane McMahon came back to wrestling after being gone for so many years, and everyone was so happy. Everyone was like, Shane McMahon is going to change the game. Shane McMahon, he understands us. He's not like his dad. And look where we are now. Shane McMahon has won a tournament that he wasn't even in, and now he is considered the best in the world. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we are. But I have The Miz winning this. This was a pretty good feud. The Miz cutting promos like you never seen him do. And I actually had Shane McMahon turning heel because I feel as though that they wouldn't pull the trigger on The Miz turning heel in his hometown, especially with his dad there. He's wearing Cleveland Browns, and he got a really big pop from the crowd. So I felt as though that it would have been Shane McMahon turning heel. Plus, Shane McMahon hasn't turned heel in a while. So I felt as though it was pretty much time for Shane McMahon to turn heel. But I have The Miz winning this one and hopefully closing this feud. But I highly doubt it. The next match we have is Triple H versus Batista, no holds bar. Tell me what I want, what I really want. So tell me what you want, what I really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I love the Spice Girls. I have Triple H winning this one. And the reason why I have Triple H winning this one, I don't know, as awesome as Triple H is for giving us NXT, the UK NXT as a traveling brand, I feel as though he may put himself over on this one. The whole storyline is that Triple H has yet to beat Batista. There's really no need for Batista to win this one, especially with him saying that it would end his career. I don't think that they would end his career by having him beat Triple H, because that would still leave the story open that, Triple H would want a rematch. But I have Triple H winning this one. So next up, we have the most exciting match of the night. The match that we all had been waiting for. And that is Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. So, this is my theory. So we have the 3 matches left. Daniel Bryan versus Kofi. Ronda, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. And Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. Let's deal with the facts, ladies and gentlemen. We are not getting 3 title changes. We're not getting Kofi, Rollins, and Becky. My theory is that in order for us to get what we want, we have to make a sacrifice. That's why I feel as though that Asuka isn't going to win the Battle Royale, because we have to make a sacrifice. And that's probably why Asuka lost in the first place, because we screwed up Wrestlemania with 2 matches. Becky Lynch was not supposed to be in the main event. It was supposed to be the main event with Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. And Kofi Kingston wasn't supposed to be going for the title at Wrestlemania. I believe it was supposed to be KO. That was the rumor. I don't know if that was, 100% true or not, but the rumor was it was supposed to be Dan Bryan versus Kevin Owens. So, in order for us to get what we want, we have to make a sacrifice. And I'm saying we sacrifice Seth Rollins. He wants to burn it down. I say, let's douse him with water. I don't see him winning the title here because I rather have the title changes in other places. I feel as though Brock Lesnar has kept this title away from Raw for so long that I am starting to get used to not seeing the Universal title. I am used to the Universal title not being on Raw, as sad as that sounds. And I'm willing to make the sacrifice. I don't care. You can have, if you really want Seth Rollins to win, you don't want Brock Lesnar to keep the title, alright, cool. But let's do that on Monday Night Raw, okay? I don't want it to happen at WrestleMania because we're not going to get all 3 title changes. We're not. If we get it, then, the world is going to explode. That's my opinion. We're not going to get 3 title changes. We are not. They're not going to change hands with all 3 titles in the same night. It's not going to happen. If it happens, then damn. If it happens, then we should mark this down as one of the biggest swerves ever in WrestleMania history for 3 title changes. But this is my sacrifice. Seth Rollins is not going to win this match. I am hoping that there's not going to be a lot of German suplexes, because the one thing I hate right now about Brock Lesnar is that he is nothing but a suplex and then a slow walk to the person to do another suplex, and then an F5, and then another suplex, while Paul Heyman is outside the ring counting how many suplexes there are. This is my sacrifice, because there are 2 other matches that I want the title to change hands. And let's get to one of them. Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. The match that's going to have me literally at the edge of my seat, goosebumps, because that's what happened at Elimination Chamber, where I'm at the edge of my seat, cheering and wooing, not Charlotte Flair wooing, by the way, but cheering and just, holding my breath like I am 8 years old again. I want Kofi Mania to run wild for everything that is good, beautiful, and pure of love. Kofi needs to win this. If Kofi Kingston does not win this title, I am going to pray for everyone in New York and in New Jersey, because it is going to be riots. Matter of fact, I pray for the whole world, because there's going to be riots all over the place. I may even riot outside my house, because you can't do this. You can't let the fans organically pick someone that they want to win the title, and you run with it like this just for the person to not win it. And I don't want any heel turns. I know people have the feeling that either Big E or Xavier Woods or both Big E and Xavier Woods are going to turn. Let the heel turn happen on SmackDown after Mania. I don't care when it happens, but it cannot happen at WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston needs to win the title. He needs to have his moment, but there cannot be any heel turns if he wins. There can't be any heel turns that make him lose. And as much as heat Big E would get if he costs Kofi Kingston to win to lose the title due to a heel turn, don't pull that trigger. Okay, it may sound like a good idea, but it's not. It really isn't. Okay, Vince, don't concentrate on how much heat Big E would get, and don't sit there and be like, oh, but he'll get heat, damn it. No, that's my Vince McMahon voice. Don't judge me, okay? I can't do a Vince McMahon that well. But Vince, do not get the idea to turn Big E heel and cost Kofi Kingston a championship just so he can get booed like crazy. Don't do it. Just give Kofi Kingston his title win. Let him have his moment. Let's just redo the Daniel Bryan win all over again. Bring down the confetti. I don't care that he's not closing the show, but let's still bring down the confetti. Let us all feel good. Walk around and hug strangers and talk to people about the power of positivity. And, we'll all tell our grandkids about the legend of Kofi Kingston. And I will sit there and be like, hey, granddaughter, let me tell you about how the power of positivity can help you do great things. So if you can't tell, I am picking Kofi Kingston to win this match. I don't want no swerves. I don't want any heel turns. I don't want any double countouts. Oh gosh, that's another thing too. There better not be any double countouts. No, there better not be any disqualifications. Let this match end with a pin. 1, 2, 3. Daniel Bryan, hand over your championship over to Kofi. And let Kofi Mania run wild. So now we finally come down to the last match. Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the Raw and SmackDown Championship. Now this is a match that the fans may not riot as much because there is a slight divide between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Slight divide. The majority still wants Becky Lynch to win. I am hoping Becky Lynch wins. Let her get her WrestleMania moment. This is another organic matchup, even though it should have been just Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. But we all know that Charlotte Flair is always added to the history-making moments. So, how fun was that Raw segment, by the way? Like, very creative. Even though those Rent-A-Cops and the indie wrestler / security guards was really bad. I was looking to see if they had the toy guns on their little utility belts. Which one of them had someone lost their little utility belt when they were going up the ramp, and you see Becky Lynch kick it off the stage. But how fun was that segment? That segment made me a little happier about what's going on Sunday for the main event, especially the fact that Ronda Rousey is able to put a car into drive and make it move forward while being handcuffed. That's some skills. That is some skills, yo. So I have Becky Lynch winning this. A part of me feels as though they're going to have Charlotte Flair win this. I really hope they don't have Charlotte Flair win this. Let Becky have her moment, please. Don't do the dumb shit and have Charlotte Flair win it and then Becky goes on and wins it on Raw the next day or on SmackDown on Tuesday. Don't do that. Please. Don't do it, WWE. Do not do it. Don't do it. Let Becky have her WrestleMania moment. Let Kofi Kingston have his WrestleMania moment. Let's all be happy with our Kofi Mania and Wrestlemania. That's all we're asking for. Just let us have our moment. Just let it happen, WWE. So those are my picks for WrestleMania. I'm very interested to see what happens this weekend Can't wait for the Raw after Mania with the crazy crowd, the internationals with their chants and their pops and how they just take over the show. Who's going to get called up from NXT? What surprises are we going to have? What title changes are going to happen? And this is going to be a very exciting 5 days. I know that some matches you aren't that excited for. I'm excited for at least 3 of these matches. I'm excited for the women's main event. I'm excited for Kofi. I'm excited for AJ versus Randy Orton. I'm excited for The Miz versus Shane McMahon. I'm even excited for Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio ? Or whoever Samoa Joe go against. So I can't wait to see. So catch me next week, guys. We'll go over my review and analysis, what happens these next 5 days. And let me know what your predictions are. You can follow me on Twitter at Jaydee Talks, Jaydee Talks. You can follow the podcast at Wrestlebread. And I am going to be launching a YouTube channel as well. So you can find the channel on YouTube, Wrestlebread. And on the YouTube channel, I'll be giving little teasers, what I'll be talking about, if there's any breaking news. Because this podcast will be releasing every Friday. And as you know, Raw and SmackDown happens on Monday and Tuesdays. And there's normally a lot of things that happen during the week. So I plan to post little videos here and there of my quick opinion about it. And whatever breaking news happens. So catch you guys next week. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. This is episode number 3, guys. So I hope you're liking this podcast so far. Let me know what you think of the podcast. Seriously, I am doing this to connect to you guys. So if there's something that you don't like, or if there's something that you want me to do, like I told you, I don't really watch the indies that much. So if there's a match that you want me to check out and give a review for, just let me know. I'll be tweeting all weekend long. And make sure you leave a review of what you think of the podcast. Shout out to Julian at the Wrestling Court. I was on the Wrestling Court recently giving out my predictions. Make sure you check that out. And I realized in my first episode that I said the Wrestle Court instead of the Wrestling Court. So I seriously apologize, Julian, about that. Please chalk it to the nerves and me just doing this all for the first time. But shout out to Julian at the Wrestling Court for his support. Shout out to Wrestling Rewind. Shout out to Alternative Minds. And be sure to check me out next week, guys. Peace.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Check us out at Wrestlebread.com and subscribe to Wrestlebread on YouTube for more breaking news and JD's opinions.